Montpelier. Wonderful. Okay, welcome. This is the Senate Committee on Institutions on January 30th. And we have with us today the Green Mountain Club. We're going to get an update on the Long Trail protection. Before we do that, I'll introduce myself, Wendy Harrison. I'm Senator from Windham and the chair of this committee.
Senator Russ Ingles of Essex District.
Senator Joe Major from what?
Yeah. Yes.
Good point. Senator Joe Major from Windsor.
And I'm Rob. Okay, Senator Sanders from Orleans.
Great. And so if you would like to introduce yourself and let us know what you think we should know.
Thank you very much. I'm Molly Flanagan. I'm the Director of Land Conservation with the Green Mountain Club. And thank you so much. Thank you, Chair Harrison, and everyone for making time to let me come and speak to you today. I would like to provide you with an overview of recent long trail protection successes, how we are approaching trail protection going forward, and then also an update on how the trail is doing in the light of the flooding events that we've had recently. I provided a written report to the committee electronically, but I have paper copies if anyone would like one.
Yes, I don't see the electronic one. So
Coming up on the web, it should be up shortly.
Okay. One page.
Just one page, yeah. So those are, I'll reiterate some of the points on that sheet. It's like, you can read it in your leisure if you'd like to.
I'm a paper person, so
Yeah.
I appreciate your earning points.
Good. So a quick background on what the Green Mountain Club is and why we come and try to talk to Senate institutions every year. So the Green Mountain Club is a statewide nonprofit organization, and we were founded in 1910 with the vision of building the Long Trail, the first long distance hiking trail in the country. And we built the Long Trail between 1910 and 1930, and today we manage and maintain the 272-mile Long Trail that runs the length of the state north to south, and then the 167, we call them side trails, mostly trails that run from the valley to the ridgetop, connecting communities to the Long Trail. And our mission is to make the mountains of Vermont play a larger role in the life of the people. The Green Mountain Club launched the Long Trail Protection Campaign in 1986. And over the last 39 years, the club has worked together with the General Assembly on a shared goal to legally protect the Long Trail system so that we can ensure public access in perpetuity. Today, we work with private landowners, the Vermont Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreation, and partner organizations. And together, we have legally protected over 88 miles of Long Trail system. So today, the trail system is 97% protected. We've conserved over 25,000 acres of land, and over 16,000 acres of land have gone into the state forest system through this effort. And so today the Long Trail is mostly running on land that is either Green Mountain National Forest or state of Vermont, primarily state forest system. And the General Assembly has been really key in making this reality possible by contributing over $3.5 million in appropriation funding over the last 35 years to invest in these lands and bring them into public ownership and make this public recreation asset possible far into the future. So we've been working on projects recently, and I wanted to give you an update on some successes. Last year, GMC came to this committee and reported that we had a project in the works, a 12-acre parcel called we call it the Deer Camp property because of its former use by the private landowner as a hunting area. This parcel is in Johnson, and we are under contract to buy it. Well, I'm happy to say that we have successfully moved forward with this project. It's shown, the location of it is shown on this map. The parcel is the blue hash marked, and as you can see, it's just south of Plot Road, if you're familiar with the Johnson area. GMC went ahead and purchased the property in May of 2024, and this project is being financed by actually a unique funding opportunity. There was a large conservation project in the Chittenden-Mendon area that was happening around 2020 that was transitioning some state acres into Green Mountain National Forest ownership. And those state acres had gotten an investment of Long Trail protection money from the General Assembly back in the 90s to protect them. And so when the land was transferred from the state to the Green Mountain National Forest, $85,000 became available to put in the Long Trail Reserve Fund for a future project. And so we used those reserve funds to work on this deer camp property, and the property will be brought into state ownership once the due diligence can be worked out with Forest Parks and Recreation. We expect that to happen this calendar year.
Interesting. Can I ask a question? on
Yeah.
that? So, it sounds like the transfer of like, development rights or conservation easements or something. So how did the 85,000 become available? Was
Yeah.
it in a fund to?
Yeah, it's a rather unique situation, so I don't expect it to be an opportunity that's
Okay.
again. But these acres were in the Coolidge State Forest, and it was surrounded by Green Mountain National Forest. So it was a very logical property to add to the forest system, but because of the politics and the mechanics of the 1990s, it made sense for it to become public ownership. So public dollars that the General Assembly provided were used to purchase these two private properties and bring them into the Coolidge State Forest. And then fast forward 30 years, the Trust for Public Land is working on a much larger conservation project, and it had to do with third-party timber rights, really, that an opportunity to purchase these timber rights came available, and it made sense to bundle this part of the Coolidge State Forest and transfer it to the Green Mountain National Forest. And so in that transfer, those $85,000 that had been originally invested in the state forest lands were paid essentially when it went into the Green Mountain National Forest. And so it became available for a future Long Trail protection project because that's what they were originally earmarked for.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, but you don't think something like that's gonna
I don't think there's a lot more
Rare.
opportunities like that.
happen? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So the deer camp property is in the works. It's off the market under GMC ownership, and we look forward to transferring it into the state ownership within this calendar year. This project is also being supported by a grant from the Vermont Housing and Conservation Board. This is a small property. It's only 12 acres. But as you can see on the map, it brings a number of important assets to state ownership. It protects 300 feet of the Long Trail, and being a long distance hiking trail, every single foot is critical in making it a continuous hiking opportunity. It fills a gap in the Long Trail State Forest. As you see, the state forest is to the south and the east of this parcel. It provides additional road access to the state forest, which is important for administration and management purposes. And it adds a forested buffer along the Long Trail so it can remain a remote and natural hiking experience. So that project is in the works. Another project that I'm happy to report on this year is that we were able to protect 1.5 miles of Long Trail in Hancock, Vermont. Occasionally there's opportunities in locations where protecting the Long Trail doesn't involve purchasing land. One such opportunity came about last year in 2024 when Middlebury College very generously donated a 1.5 mile long trail right of way to the Green Mountain Club for the route of the Long Trail across their downhill ski area, the Snow Bowl. A downhill ski area is not really a location where land conservation or acquisition is suitable. And so GMC was very happy to work with Middlebury on a trail right-of-way form of legal protection for the trail. Trail rights-of-way are not GMC's preferred tool for how to protect the trail, since they don't conserve the land around the trail and conserve that footpath in the wilderness that the trail is managed for. But on a parcel like a Snow Bowl, where other recreation opportunities are being managed for, GMC is more than happy to take a flexible approach in like this with a trail right of way. So, I'm sorry, I missed the map. That's the map of the Snow Bowl. As you can see, the Long Trail cuts straight through the ski area, crossing some of the downhill ski lines.
So where's that?
And 4 or 5 spots. So the Long Trail is the white and red dash
Okay.
line that cuts right through the middle of
Wow,
the property.
that'll be exciting in the winter. Yes.
Question about the Deer County track.
Mhm.
I'm probably naive and I just don't understand, but
Yeah.
why was it necessary to purchase that property when, if you could have moved Long Trail over, just shifted it a little bit, was it cheaper to just buy the property? Or was it a matter of like, it's a historic trail that was set down hundreds of years ago, you don't want to mess with it, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. We do always look at whether relocations are possible.
Mhm.
However, we thought that this was a priority project because we're not only looking to have the exact, route that the hiker walks on be legally protected, but the landscape around the trail so that hikers are in a forested area and enjoying the natural environment. And so we use a metric of 500 feet on either side of where people walk to as a goal for protecting that land, so that the environment is protected around the trail so that people aren't walking, in a house's backyard
Yeah.
or such. So,
So there wasn't enough land that you already owned on
Yeah.
the right hand side of it. If it was a bigger
Yeah.
map, I might be able to answer
Yeah.
my questions, but.
yeah, exactly. You can, on this map, maybe it's easier to see that the black dotted line is the long trail. And so you can see that, it is just on the corner of that blue polygon of the property that we're acquiring. But even if we moved it onto the green, you wouldn't have had that full 500 feet, and protecting that is really, you can't have a really valuable trail if it's not in a natural environment.
So are you looking to purchase more of the white along the edge? Because I see the black line is like right on the green line and the white border there, going up.
Yeah, the Johnson is an area that has a number of properties that we would like to work with. But a really key component of our approach to protecting long trails, we only work with willing landowners. So we take a patient and persistent approach of building relationships, understanding what the landowners, relationship of the land and where potential opportunities might be. And so, we focus on relationship building.
Thank you. That's very interesting. My father acted.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And there was another trail that crossed this property too. Is that the line that we can see, or is that just?
Yeah, good
I
question.
seem to remember that. I think, did you report on this or?
I think that was the one
different piece.
that we did was farther south
Yeah,
and it was more
I
complicated.
remember hearing about it or something like that, but there's another trail on there.
No, sorry, the gray line on the map in your handout is the 500-foot buffer.
Okay,
So that's showing
Okay.
how far 500 feet is from the
if
trail.
I'm confusing it with,
Right,
If
it
you
was,
would-
well, there were two of
I think it
them.
was the first bill you reported.
I think it
and
was Woodstock.
It might have been, I think it was up in Johnson. I thought it was.
Well, you know what, there were two.
Yeah, it might have been, but anyways, yeah,
Yeah.
but anyway, so. okay.
Where we-
I seem to remember another trail in there. I just couldn't.
Mhm.
And we swapped the
Did some
the
swapping or whatever.
amounts too.
Mhm.
But anyways, okay.
Great. So, looking ahead, GMC is devoting a renewed focus to long trail system protection, thanks to a strategic conservation plan that GMC adopted, just, in 2023. We took a holistic step back to look at our conservation goals and, developed a kind of a roadmap for how we would like to propose to get there. So this plan has given the club renewed attention to our long-standing goal of legally protecting the long trail system. Really, it was more of a recommitment to what we have been doing rather than branching off in other directions. But it always was good to take a step back and make sure that you're headed in the right direction. So GMC is actively working on developing the next protection projects. And looks forward to coming to this committee with an actionable project, but today we do not have an actionable project for acquisition. As I said, it takes a patient persistent approach, and we're not there yet with any particular property. There's 4.5 miles of long trail that are spread across about 13 different private properties that we have on our list for priority acquisition. And there are about 12.5 miles of side trails that are spread about 45 different properties. And these parcels are spread across the entire state. So in the table in your handout, that's reflected in a table form on this map. And I apologize, it's so small, but the problem is the dimensions of the state
Right.
relative to the Long Trail make it very hard to show a statewide map, but on this small map, you can see the orange areas are priority focus areas, and the blue areas are also important, additional important focus areas. So as you can see, they're spread across the state. As the Long Trail is, our Long Trail protection projects are also statewide. So GMC is working statewide within the communities on the goal of protecting the Long Trail system. But each property has unique circumstances and will require time to curate. So we look forward to sharing the next project with the committee when it's available, hopefully next year, but we will see how our relationship building goes.
Great.
Finally, I just would love to give you an update on the trail in the reality of managing it in an era of climate change. These flooding events of last year in 2023 have sharpened our attention on what it means to manage and maintain a valued public recreation resource in the era of climate change. We're seeing warmer, shorter winters, wetter summers, and these conditions provide unique challenges to managing any recreation trail. I'm very happy to report that the Long Trail system saw no major catastrophic damage in 2024 flood. We didn't see any bridges totally wash out or shelters destroyed. That said, significant portions of the trail, particularly side trails, experienced very severe erosion, especially in Addison and Chittenden counties between Mount Abe and Mount Mansfield. Here are some representative photos, both of them in Bolton, of the kinds of erosion that we're seeing. Because if every flood event ages the trail 25 years, we get 25 years worth of erosion in one day. Another important impact to the trail in the 2024 flood was that a lot of the town roads leading up to the trailhead got significant damage. And so as a result, GMC worked with the state to advise the public about not accessing certain trailheads until the town had had an opportunity to address the roads needs, the community needs. And so that was a lot of public education. So it will take years and tens of thousands of dollars to repair the erosion damage and recover from the 2023-2024 storms. But the fact that we have the trail primarily legally protected, the fact that 97% of the Long Trail system is on public land or has some kind of legal protection for it is really a key factor in the Green Mountain Club and the Forest Parks and Recreation Department being able to do the work to fix the trail to recover from these storm events. Most of our funding sources require that kind of protection in order to invest maintenance dollars into them. And so doing the work of the Long Trail protection kind of protects the trail twice. It protects the access in perpetuity, and it protects our ability to maintain the trail when these kinds of flooding events happen. So thank you so much for your time today.
I think we have.
I'd love to answer questions.
Thank you very much. I think.
Yes.
Senator Major.
Thank you. So, you have volunteers doing the cleanup, is that accurate?
We have both a really strong volunteer corps and a professional trail crew. So it
Okay.
takes all hands on deck, and it depends on what type of work we're trying to do. Volunteers are very key in the kind of the annual maintenance of maintaining the trail, clipping back branches, clearing out water bars. And then our professional crew gets out there and builds stone staircases and wooden bridges and things like that.
How are you notified that something needs cleanup, right? Because they're not just through flooding or a catastrophic event, but just a bad rainstorm can be a detriment to it. So how do you find out that these need upkeep?
Yeah. kind of probably a two-pronged approach. These last two floods have given us practice at a new protocol of kind of rapid response deployment. So since both of these floods have happened during the summer, we have our seasonal staff on board, and so we had the people power to go out and do kind of a rapid assessment. And so we have a list of all of the most vulnerable assets on the trail system. And so we deployed the staff to go check on those. And that allowed us to very quickly assess, what trails we have to tell the public to not access right now if a bridge is gone or compromised. So that's our kind of rapid response tool that we've gotten to practice twice now. And we have our volunteer corps, which can also activate fairly quickly, but probably more over a matter of weeks than a matter of days. And we have a volunteer adopter for every single trail, every single section of the long trail. And so that adopter typically goes out at least twice a year to take care of the trail, but can be deployed to kind of give us on the ground information of what's happening out there.
Last question, I promise. You said that you work with private landowners, and also from your testimony, it sounds as if you work with municipalities as well. The municipalities donate. How cooperative have the municipalities been in the helping clear and or the notification of that there's an issue?
With the trail
Yes.
condition. I would want to ask my colleague who does more like the direct trail management. But my understanding is, municipal land, we still have a volunteer adopter. And so we would primarily lean on that individual to let us know how the trail is doing. A lot of towns have conservation commissions or recreation committees. And so those, each town is unique. So some of them work really closely with us, some less so. And so, where they would like to engage, we partner with them on the projects that we're planning on that area.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
oh,
Oh.
what about great minds?
And
Well, at least that's that.
I just have one question. How do you interface with the Appalachian Trail? Because weren't you the first and that
Yeah.
became the Appalachian Trail? I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool.
We like to say that we inspired the Appalachian
Yeah.
Trail, which it's just correct. The founder of the Appalachian Trail hiked Dratton Mountain and had vision of an even longer trail system. I think it was in around 1930 that individual climbed Stratton Mountain and saw what the long trail was, that had a vision of what if it continued for the entire Appalachian system. So yes, we work very closely on the Appalachian Trail. In 2012, I believe the GMC became the maintainer of the entire section of the Appalachian Trail within the state of Vermont. And so the Appalachian Trail is a complex trail system to manage. It's a unit of the National Park Service, but the Park Service delegates a lot of the on-the-ground work to regional hiking clubs. And so in Vermont, GMC is that hiking club for the 18. So we work very closely with the National Park Service, the National Forest Service, and then the nonprofit Appalachian Trail Conservancy to do the same on the ground maintenance and improvement projects for the Appalachian Trail.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Where does the trail end on the Canadian border?
Sorry, where?
Where is it, the long trail end on the Canadian border?
Just west of North Troy.
Yes, I live in North Troy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. There just happens to be a U.S. boundary pillar right where the long trail ends, and so everyone takes their photo at that
There
boundary
you go.
pillar, which is nice to have like such an iconic thing to take a photo with.
I've given rides for people. I had some land that I listed up there, 6 lots, and had it for a couple summers. And every time I go up there, I'd get somebody walking down off a long trail. And it's funny, they get done the long trail and they think, oh, we're done. Well, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of nowhere. And so a lot more hiking left, unless you get someone like me who would give a ride and sometimes 15 miles away to another hotel just so they could.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah. So,
That's funny.
yeah, yeah, they think they're all done hiking. No,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not. You've got a ways to go.
That describes most of my district.
Yeah.
Well,
It's lovely.
Love it.
that's interesting. Okay, any other questions, or this is great? Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
for making the time.
Thank
See if I can lead Zoom.
All right. And that was our only topic for the day. So unless anyone has anything more to think
That
about.
would be nice to have an early day.
Yeah.
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 You, I'm gonna,
Okay, so